Hello, and welcome to Your Money 2.0. I'm Thomas Fox, Community Outreach Director of Cambridge Credit Counseling. Depending upon who you listen to, the recession we've been dealing with in America is either over or coming to an end. As experts around the country attempt to determine exactly where we are in the economic cycle, it is a good sign, at least, that many analysts are talking positively again. Of course, if you're one of the millions still out of work, underemployed, or caught up in the foreclosure crisis, that kind of talk is premature at best. Both employment and housing are commonly referred to as lagging indicators, meaning that while the rest of the economy shows clear signs that it's getting stronger, it will take some time for the employment and housing markets to catch up. Recent statistics on income, output, and consumption have indicated that the economy has begun to grow. However, some experts have suggested that there is still a small risk we could fall back into a recession. That slight risk should remind us of one of the many lessons this experience has taught us, namely that in good times and bad, boom and bust, we have to remain prepared for serious financial challenges. How can you do that? I would suggest that by following 3 simple principles, you can be in a much better position the next time our economy slows down. During the recession, many people concluded that one of the best ways to regain control of their finances was to pay down their credit card debt, an admirable goal. Over the last year, Americans have shed almost $100 billion worth of their $900 billion personal debt, and we're showing no signs of slowing down just yet. Let's call this principle number 1. We need to develop a plan to pay down our debt and avoid taking on any new debt unless it's absolutely necessary. Your plan can be developed through research or by talking to a certified credit counselor at one of the many nonprofit agencies located throughout the country. Principle number 2 has to do with creating an emergency fund. This recession caught millions of Americans off guard, and many people were unprepared for the length of time they would be unemployed. Due to a lack of savings, a lot of folks simply ran out of money to pay their bills, and many, unfortunately, just a few weeks after losing their job. We can do better. There is plenty of data available to help you prepare your emergency fund. For example, in my state, Massachusetts, the average length of time it takes for people to find a new job is 10 months. But it will take a long time to build an emergency fund to cover 10 months worth of my necessary expenses. That's what I have to do. While I'm building that fund, hoping the next crisis never comes, I'll also follow principle number 3, creating an emergency budget. Budgeting for normal financial circumstances is very different from budgeting for emergencies. In our regular budget, we strive to keep costs within the constraints of our income while establishing a goal for savings. In an emergency budget, everything is on the table. The first step is to imagine what the crisis is that will trigger this particular budget. Is it your job that was lost or your spouse's job? In most families, either of these would have a devastating effect on the budget. The second step is to begin the process of revising your expenses to stay within the reduced income for as long as possible. As I said, everything is on the table. You may need to eliminate cable, gym memberships, or other obligations important to you now simply because you don't have the financial capacity to live as you did when times were good. Can you stretch every dollar until you find a new job? You know you may have to if the worst were actually to happen. So do whatever it takes now, on paper, to ensure that you'll be as ready as you can be if you're a victim of the next recession. At the very least, you'll discover that creating an emergency budget when times are good produces much less anxiety than if you wait until a crisis arrives. Well, that's it for this edition. We welcome your feedback and ask for your thoughts and suggestions by emailing us at yourmoney2@cambridgecredit.org. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm Thomas Fox for Cambridge Credit Counseling.